Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Sanae Takaichi elected as Japan's first female Prime Minister after clinching historic vote. PM Modi congratulates Takaichi, vows to strengthen India-Japan ties. US Vice President J.D. Vance visits Israel as Washington tries to stabilize first shaky phase of Gaza ceasefire. PM Modi pens letter to citizens of Bharat, hails Operation Sindoor, urges everyone to respect all languages, adopt India-made products. In a historic milestone for Japanese politics, hardline conservative Sanae Takaichi has been formally appointed as Japan's first female Prime Minister on Tuesday after securing victories in parliamentary votes. Takaichi garnered 237 votes in the 465-seat lower house, exceeding the majority threshold. In the upper house runoff against opposition leader Yoshihiko Noda, she won 125 votes. This follows the Liberal Democratic Party's coalition with the right-wing Japan Innovation Party, succeeding Shigeru Ishiba amid election setbacks. Takaichi pledges economic reforms, stronger US ties and increased women's cabinet roles without quotas. And Paulomi Berman joins us from Tokyo. Hi Paulomi. Now Sanae Takaichi makes history after becoming Japan's first female Prime Minister after clinching a historic vote at the lower house. How do you assess this?
Well, it's a very historic, in fact, a very symbolic moment for people in Japan as Japan gets its first female Prime Minister. Sanae Takaichi is in fact the fourth Prime Minister in just about 5 years, representing the leading party of Japan, that is LDP. After the former Prime Minister stepped down, she was elected as the president of the leading party of Japan, that is LDP. However, since then she has faced several challenges and crises in the Diet, including their long-term ally and the coalition with the Komeito, which came down, and the Komeito decided to walk away from the coalition. However, the Japan Innovation Party came together once again and formed the coalition, thus making history, giving Japan its first female Prime Minister.
Indeed. Now, what are the challenges, Paulomi, that lie ahead in front of her?
Japan has already got its first female Prime Minister, Sanae Takaichi. However, going forward, Sanae Takaichi will have to deal with several challenges. And let's take a look at some of these challenges that she has to deal with going forward. LDP has never had a coalition with the party, Japan Innovation Party, before, which might raise the question that whether they are going to have a smooth journey going forward, because there might be challenges while passing legislations or taking decisions in the future. Secondly, Takaichi follows Abenomics, which of course provides huge tax relief to the people of the country, but may not be very helpful in taking care of the high debt situation for Japan.
Indeed, and Paulomi, perhaps Donald Trump might be visiting Japan soon to meet the new PM. Any information on that, and what can we expect from this?
The US President Donald Trump is expected to visit Japan towards the end of this month, following his trip to Malaysia. He's going to be on a trip to Japan for about 3 days, and during his trip to Japan, he's also expected to meet the new Prime Minister while they talk about different issues and different concerns. The highest point of concern would of course be the US tariff situation. US has already imposed 25% tariff hike on Japanese goods, which is a point of concern for Japan, and we are expecting talks to happen around that as well.
All right, we leave that. Thank you so much. Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulated Sanai Takaichi on her election as PM of Japan. In a social media post on X, PM Modi wrote, and I quote, "Heartiest congratulations, Sanai Takaichi, on your election as the Prime Minister of Japan. I look forward to working closely with you to further strengthen the India-Japan special strategic and global partnership. Our deepening ties are vital for peace, stability and prosperity across the Indo-Pacific and beyond." Unquote. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar congratulated Japan's newly appointed Foreign Minister Motegi Toshimitsu. In a post on X, Jaishankar expressed his enthusiasm to work together to further strengthen the special strategic and global partnership between India and Japan. U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance arrived in Israel on Tuesday as Washington works to steady the fragile first phase of the Gaza ceasefire and push both Israel and Hamas towards tougher concessions in the upcoming talks. Vance's visit follows Monday's talks between Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and U.S. envoys Steve Witkoff and Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner, and comes as Hamas meet mediators in Cairo. A senior Israeli official said Vance's mission is to advance negotiations into the second phase of the ceasefire, as he is also expected to visit joint U.S.-led force headquarters overseeing Gaza stabilization. Earlier, President Donald Trump warned that Hamas would be eradicated if it violates the Gaza deal, accusing the group of recent violent acts and public executions during the delicate truce period. U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner met with released Israeli hostages in Tel Aviv on Tuesday. The two also held talks with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu a day earlier as Washington pushed to get the Gaza ceasefire plan back on track after a weekend surge of violence threatened to derail the fragile truce. Meanwhile, aid deliveries to Gaza continue. Trucks were seen returning empty to Egypt's Rafah crossing after offloading supplies on Tuesday as more aid entered through Israeli-controlled routes. French President Emmanuel Macron, who is in Slovenia for a midnight summit on Tuesday, called for aid routes into Gaza to be reopened as a matter of absolute urgency to allow crucial aid in for war-stricken civilians.
In this context, it is also why we wish to remain committed along with our European, Arab and US partners to immediately obtain, and this is a matter of absolute urgency, the reopening of humanitarian sites and routes so that aid, food and basic necessities can be brought to the population, and also of course to assist the injured, all the most vulnerable individuals and families who need to be evacuated from the territory of Gaza to be cared for in hospitals in the region.
Former French President Nicolas Sarkozy began his prison term in Paris on Tuesday after being sentenced to 5 years for conspiring to raise campaign funds from Libya. Sarkozy was once the conservative president of France between 2007 and 2012. He is the first former French leader to be jailed since Nazi collaborator Marshal Philippe Pétain after World War II. This conviction, in fact, ends years of legal investigations into claims that Sarkozy's 2007 election campaign received millions of euros in cash from Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi, who was later overthrown and killed during the Arab Spring uprisings. French police stepped up the hunt on Tuesday for thieves who stole royal jewels from the Louvre Museum in a daylight robbery. The museum remained closed for a second day as investigators pursued leads suggesting an organized crime group was behind the heist. CCTV footage from the Louvre and Paris highways have been reviewed to trace the 4 robbers who escaped on scooters. The robbery that occurred on Sunday has reignited debate over museum security following 2 other thefts last month, with Justice Minister acknowledging security lapses at the Louvre. US President Donald Trump and Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese signed a critical minerals agreement on Monday as part of a wide-ranging critical minerals agreement signed with an aim of countering China's hold over the industry. Both countries will contribute $1 billion over the next 6 months for joint projects. The U.S. Export-Import Bank said it sent 7 letters of interest totaling more than $2.2 billion to advance U.S.-aligned critical minerals projects in Australia. Australia said in a statement that it would provide up to $200 million in concessional equity financing for the project, which includes offtake rights for the Australian government, while the U.S. would also make an equity investment with offtake rights.
We are discussing critical minerals and rare earths, and we're going to be signing an agreement that's been negotiated over a period of 4 or 5 months. And it was sort of good timing that we got it done just in time for the visit. And we worked together very much on rare earths, critical minerals, and lots of other things.
And let's see what's happening around the world. And in Brazil, the city of Manaus is facing a new challenge as the Rio Negro dries up. Tons of trash dumped by locals are now visible along the riverbanks. Daily cleanup drives are underway with nearly 350 tons of waste expected in a month. The effort aims to protect both the environment and public health. The UK's Millennium Seed Bank is celebrating 25 years safeguarding wild seeds. It stores 2.5 billion seeds to protect plant life for the future. The bank works with over 100 countries to help save nature. And in Dubai, Puppy Yoga is helping rescue dogs find new homes. The fun classes mix relaxation with playful pups, bringing joy to participants. The session is part of the Fee Support Shelters. So far, 15 dogs have been adopted through these sessions. And coming up on this edition of DD India Live. On Police Commemoration Day, the nation remembers the courage and sacrifice of men and women in khaki. Indian Railways roll out over 12,000 special trains for festive season. Stay tuned to know more about this. And India wicket-keeper batter Rishabh Pant returns to action in the India A versus South Africa A series.
Can the US launch a bombing campaign against Iran? The Philippines vessel suffered structural damage. The saga of child sexual abuse is the United States China's debt trap strategy. Truth is stranger than fiction. But sometimes hard to uncover. Trust us to tell the truth, unadulterated and pure, of every story that matters to you.
Exactly what to save your country.
You read between the lines, cut the clutter, and connect the dots to get you the full picture. Watch Connecting the Dots at these times with me, only on DD India.
You're watching DD India Live. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj, and India salutes its sentinels of peace. On Police Commemoration Day, the nation remembers the courage and sacrifice of the men and women in khaki. From the line of duty to the line of control, they have stood guard so the nation can rest easy. DD India correspondent Akshay Tongre reports.
At the National Police Memorial in New Delhi, Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh led the nation in paying tributes to the brave hearts who made the supreme sacrifice in service of the nation. October 21st, 1959, a date etched in India's memory. 10 policemen were ambushed and killed by Chinese troops at hot springs in Ladakh. Their sacrifice became the cornerstone of this day of remembrance, the Police Commemoration Day.
सेना हो या पुलिस, ये दोनों ही देश की सुरक्षा को के अलग अलग पिलर्स हैं। इसलिए मेरा यह मानना है कि दुश्मन कोई भी हो, चाहे सीमा पार से आए या हमारे बीच छिपा हो, जो भी व्यक्ति भारत की सुरक्षा के लिए खड़ा है, वह एक ही आत्मा का प्रतिनिधि है। सेना और पुलिस में बस मंच अलग हैं, लेकिन इनका मिशन एक ही है, राष्ट्र की सुरक्षा।
The Defence Minister held the police and paramilitary forces as the pillars of national security, protecting not just borders but also the nation's social fabric. From tackling terrorism and cybercrime to dismantling Naxal networks, India's Khaki Force stands at the front lines of every challenge. Rajnath Singh also lauded the police's relentless fight against left-wing extremism, asserting that the problem is nearing its end.
एक लंबे समय तक नक्सलवाद हमारी आंतरिक सुरक्षा के लिए समस्या रहा है और हमारी पुलिस, सीआरपीएफ, बीएसएफ, सारी पैरामिलिट्री फोर्सेस और स्थानीय प्रशासन ने मिलकर जिस तरह संगठित तरीके से काम किया वह काबिले तारीफ है। साथियों, पिछले कई वर्षों के हमारे सम्मिलित प्रयास अब फलीभूत हो रहे हैं। पूरे देश को अब यह भरोसा हो गया है कि अगले वर्ष तक इस समस्या का नामो निशान नहीं रहेगा। भारत के जो क्षेत्र रेड कॉरिडोर के नाम से कुख्यात थे वह अब ग्रोथ कॉरिडोर में बदल रहे हैं। सरकार जो इतने परिवर्तन कर पाई है उसमें बहुत बड़ा योगदान हमारे पुलिस बलों का और हमारे सुरक्षा बलों का है।
With coordination, modernization and the trust of the people, India's police continue their mission to protect, serve and uphold the law. Akshay Dongre's report for DD India.
India has converted most of the fence along the LOC with Pakistan-occupied Kashmir into a smart fence. Our correspondent Nandita Daga travelled to the line of control in Jammu and Kashmir and filed this report. Have a look.
This is the Anti-Infiltration Obstacle System, or AIOS, commonly known as the fence between India and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, here in the Nowshera sector of J&K. Along the line of control, we see troops of the Indian Army completely vigilant and carrying out the patrol of the AIOS or the fence. Now this AIOS or Anti-Infiltration Obstacle System here at the Nowshera sector overlooks the Kala Sonaguda valley of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Around 2 kilometers beyond is the line of control, and this fence or AIOS runs parallelly to the line of control. Now India shares a line of control which is the de facto boundary between Pakistan-occupied Kashmir and our Jammu and Kashmir. This de facto boundary is 740 kilometers long. Now India is upgrading this AIOS or this Anti-Infiltration Obstacle System to a smart fence. How is it doing that? It's adding optical sensors, infrared sensors, acoustic sensors and artificial intelligence sensors to this fence. So any movement, body heat or image of infiltrating terrorist will be caught on cameras. Most of this work is already complete in most of the part of the fence. That is around 740 kilometers of fence. More than 700 kilometers has already been converted to a smart fence with optical, thermal, infrared and acoustic sensors on it. Artificial intelligence will be playing a big role. When this fence turns into a smart fence, snipers will automatically engage the infiltrating Pakistani terrorists. This will be a game changer and bring about peace here in the border villages. When Operation Sindoor started in the first few days between 7th of May and 11th of May, this and several other posts along the LOC came under heavy Pakistani artillery shelling and small arms firing. And the Indian Army adequately responded, and it has become clear in the subsequent days that the Indian Army successfully killed almost 100 terrorists and their masters, that is the Pakistani army troops, in the response to that artillery shelling and firing. With camera person Dhiman at the LOC in Nowshera, this is Nandita Dagar for DD India.
The Ministry of Railways has made extensive arrangements to cater to the surge in passenger demand during the ongoing festive season in India. To ensure smooth travel, more than 12,000 special trains are being operated, with over 1.2 million railway employees working tirelessly round the clock. Over 3,960 special trains carrying over 1 crore passengers were successfully operated by the Indian Railways between October 1st to 19th to meet the festive rush of Diwali and Chhath. Additional 8,050 more special trains are planned. With 12,011 special trains this year, The Indian Railways showcased an upsurge of almost 55.5% as compared to 7,724 trains in 2024. Indian Railways is on fast track this season with the special arrangements from sanitation to counter facilitation to dedicated holding areas. The Indian stock market held the special Muhurat trading session on Tuesday on the occasion of Diwali 2025. The Muhurat trading session is an annual ritual considered highly auspicious and marks the beginning of the new Hindu calendar year or Vikram Samvat. Muhurat trading session is a symbolic one-hour trading session conducted by Indian stock exchanges and the commodity exchanges. The Indian stock market opened higher on Tuesday in the Muhurat trading session led by positive global market cues. Prime Minister Narendra Modi penned down a letter on Diwali. In his letter, PM Modi extended heartfelt greetings to all, marking the second Deepavali after the grand construction of the Ram temple in Ayodhya. In fact, PM Modi affirmed Operation Sindoor as a recent example of upholding justice, adding that the festival is particularly special this year as lamps will be lit in many districts, including remote areas where Naxalism and Maoist terrorism have been eradicated. He praised citizens who have abandoned violence and embraced development, viewing it as a major achievement for the nation. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also praised the significant milestone of implementing reduced GST rates. He noted that during the GST Bachat Utsav or Savings Festival, citizens have collectively saved thousands of crores of rupees. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also lauded the historic achievements of lower GST rates were implemented. During this GST Bachat Utsav, citizens are saving thousands of crores of rupees. Prime Minister articulated that in a world going through multiple crises, Bharat has emerged as a symbol of both stability and sensitivity. PM Modi also lauded the journey of a Vikasit and Atmanirbhar Bharat. PM Modi urged citizens to support and purchase local Swadeshi products, encouraging everyone to embrace the spirit of vocal for local. Delhi reported poor air quality on Tuesday owing to the festive season. According to the Central Pollution Control Board, the air quality index in Delhi crossed 350, placing it in the severe category. The festive season, coupled with seasonal weather changes and increased stubble burning in neighbouring states, has worsened pollution levels in the Delhi NCR. Meanwhile, Delhi government has taken measure to curb pollution. Water sprinklers were deployed along several parts of the city to help improve the AQI levels. Veteran actor Govardhan Asrani passed away in Mumbai yesterday at the age of 84. Best known for his role as the jailer in Sholay, he also starred in hits like Chupke Chupke, Bhool Bhulaiya, Dhamal and Bunty or Bubbly 2. With a career spanning over 5 decades, Asrani's contribution to Hindi cinema, especially in the genre of comedy, was both prolific and profound. Prime Minister Narendra Modi posted a heartfelt condolence message on X for the passing of veteran Bollywood actor and director Govardhan Asrani. PM Modi wrote in his X post, and I quote him, "Deeply saddened by the passing of Shri Govardhan Asrani ji, a gifted entertainer and a truly versatile artist. He entertained audiences across generations. He particularly added joy and laughter to countless lives through his unforgettable performances. His contribution to Indian cinema will always be cherished. My condolences to his family and admirers. Om Shanti." Now news from the world of sports, and Indian wicketkeeper batter Rishabh Pant will make his long-awaited return to competitive cricket in the India A versus South Africa A 4-day match series. Pant was sidelined after fracturing his foot in July during a test match against England in Manchester. The Board of Control for Cricket in India appointed Pant as the captain for the 2 4-day matches after the left-handed batter completed his recovery. Meanwhile, Sai Sudarshan has been named vice-captain of the squad, which features several test regulars like KL Rahul, Mohammad Siraj and Prasidh Krishna. The squad is dominated by young upstarts who will be looking to make their mark on the international stage. The squad includes India's domestic stars like Ayush Mahatre, Rajat Patidar, Abhimanyu Eswaran, Tanush Kotian and Anshul Kamboj, among others. In the heart of Cuban capital of Havana, a community project is reviving Cuba's salsa soul one step at a time. The initiative, called Salsa for My People, is more than a dance class, it's a cultural comeback. We take you to a place where rhythm meets resilience. That's all for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms, and you can scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.